Hi everyone, Al the Psych. I have a video for you today that I've entitled How Much Do You Care About What Others Think? Masking. Just for informational purposes only. And right off the bat, I'm going to say this might kind of meander a little bit. I thought what was going to be a straight forward sort of video has kind of taken a lot of little turns and it might be a little disorganized, but oh well. Let's see if I can get through this. So I was just thinking about how, as humans, we all have different personas and masks and personalities sometimes, depending on the situation and circumstances. And, this goes back, you know, years and years and years. I mean, Shakespeare talked about it. Jung certainly talked about, the persona and the shadow and, things along those lines. And you can read, um, what is that one book, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that sort of thing. Um, so it just has so many different angles to it. I'll see if I can tackle a couple of them. So caring about what other people think and masking or taking on a certain persona can be beneficial. There's obviously talk about how it might hurt you, but it also can be uh, beneficial. Like when I was working as a school psychologist, I often had to listen to parents or advocates that were upset with the findings of assessment that I conducted. And they would let me know you know, in no uncertain terms that they were upset. They certainly weren't masking their feelings. I didn't need to be a psychologist to know how they were feeling and thinking. Of course, I was usually pretty good about being professional and keeping my cool. Um, and I also learned that trying to put myself in the shoes of the parents made it a bit easier to deal with anger that was directed toward me. So was I masking? Yeah, I assume, to some degree I was masking. I mean, there's probably a part of me that wanted to respond in kind. However, the larger part of me wanted to deal with situations like this in a professional manner. I believe dealing professionally was best not just for me, but for all participants. Um, I think it was Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, who said, don't get caught up in caring about what others think unless it's for the common good. And in cases like this, I believed it was for the common good. So Marcus Aurelius said something to the effect that we typically love ourselves more than others. So why give so much concern to what other people think? But as I mentioned previously, there are situations in which wearing the mask is appropriate. It's kind of like determining to mask or not to mask based upon, a situational continuum. So um, I do appreciate when people mask, depending upon the situation. So social situations can help keep a certain degree of decorum operating. So if I like to tell jokes loudly, if I've a real boisterous sort of personality, and I find myself in a movie theater while the movie is playing, I don't think that's for the common good if I'm talking loudly and not really considering the people near me, nor would it be for my personal good, as I can imagine what people might do to me if I kept on in that manner. So in situations like this, it does help to care what others think. On the other hand, individuals can mask to the point of really losing, their sense of authenticity, as a person. And I might have to go into another video about that, especially with maybe individuals that are on the autism spectrum. Um, but uh, people might want to mask initially, like to get accepted into a group, something along those lines. Typically people just don't open up and say, here I am, this is me. And I'd be a little worried about connecting with somebody like that if their boundaries were so loose. I'd be definitely a little concerned about that. So, situations do come up to where masking is somewhat of a self-protection. Eventually, and you start at a certain level, and eventually, hopefully, you show more of your authentic self, and you're still accepted or connecting with the group or the individual, whoever. If not, maybe it's time to look for another group or try to connect with another person. Unless there is some sort of personality flaw that might be going on that maybe needs to be resolved. You see how this subject can kind of grow tentacles here. Is it the group, the other person, or is it me? What? So there's a lot of little nuances here in this particular topic that can just keep on going. Now, one more scenario. So let's say that you're a sociopath. Typically, sociopaths can mask very well. Um, and I'm using the term about masking kind of loosely here, but if you're a sociopath and you're taking on this persona, and basically, it's used as part of the sociopath toolkit, to manipulate and take advantage of others. And, they can kind of hide who they are, look like who you think you would want them to be, or how they think you would want them to be. And this is, masking to manipulate. So, again, masking, not an easy subject as I started delving into it. There's a lot of little offshoots that could be future videos. Anyway, something to think about. I know it's a little bit rambling today, but I thought I'd get it out there anyway. Okay, that's it. Thanks.